Yes Have Some podcast is brought to you by Carnivorous Creations, your one-stop shop for all of your Proton Pack building needs. If you're in the market for a Proton Pack, head to carnivorouscreations.com. That's carnivorous with a K. You're going to find aluminum motherboards, resin parts, fiberglass shells, and a whole lot more. Find them on Facebook at Carnivorous Creations or head straight to carnivorouscreations.com, remember carnivorous with a K, and get started on an authentic, screen-accurate Proton Pack.
Jurassic Park. Now playing at the Ecto goggles with Ecto Bomber, Neutron Blaster, and Water Zapper, each sold separately.
From the corner penthouse of Spook Central all the way to Star Killer Base, this is Yes Have Some podcast.
Do I? Yes, have some.
Yes, have some.
You know, they told me you people were conceited douchebags.
The only place in the multiverse where you can love the book, hate the movie, but still buy all the toys.
I'm afraid you're just too darn loud.
I'm not looking for a friend. I'm looking for a Jedi Master.
What?
Please remember to hold on to your butts and get ready to get stressed. With your hosts, Craig Goldberg, Abigail Gardner, and Jacob Walsh.
Hello.
Hey.
It's probably going to be an echo. We're going to open the room here. Hello, everybody. Welcome to... Oh, boy. What episode is this?
Oh, 80,
No.
90. Are we on 90?
80-90. It's episode 80-90.
80-90.
Wait.
It's the best of the episodes.
It's
Since
best.
you already hit record, everyone's going to hear me do the thing I always do where I check the last episode.
This is episode 90. What's up, everybody? Welcome
Okay.
to Yes Have Some podcast. My name is Craig Goldberg, and I'm here as always. This is their favorite part. Get ready for it.
Let's do it.
Are you guys ready?
I'm ready.
We had a long discussion about it last time.
About how that's just us.
That's just
I'm
us.
Like, what's up, guys?
What's up, guys? Abigail
I'm
Gardner.
going to do something different. Good evening.
Oh,
Whoa!
Whoa, I'm in the new house.
you just confused everybody who's listening to this in the morning. They went,
Oh.
what?
Sorry.
What?
It's been like a very long 48 hours, 72 hours, something.
72
such.
hours.
How long has it been?
Moving.
72 hours it's the sequel to 48 hours.
Yes,
Oh, is that
yes.
what that is?
Nick Nolte's not in it. It's Nick Carter.
Oh, I'd see that.
Jacob Walsh, what's up, man?
Not too much.
Oh,
How are you
cool.
guys?
Hey, buddy.
We're good. We've
How's
all-
that house feel?
It's well.
Dude, let's talk about it.
Do we want to go there already?
I like it now because the water in the shower is now hot, but over
Okay.
like in like our first 24 hours in the house, it was like whatever because no one had lived in this place before, so like the water heater, I guess. I don't know.
You're making something
there were
up.
so
You're
many
making stuff up,
I made
yeah.
up so many stories because like the lady who
Fine.
lived here was like very old, Virginia. So like I just assumed that basically the water couldn't get extremely hot. Like I want it to be like scalding. I want to know that it can like get to that point. So the fact that there was like a limit on the lever, I was like, oh well, they probably put this on her.
It was a
like,
protection
because
measure.
safety.
Do they do that? Do they put safety levers on the water to not be so hot?
Isn't that-
Or is that just something we just made up?
We made it up.
You know what,
a little
Jake?
bit.
I might have
Gotcha.
made that up.
Jake, since we're now doing a hot water podcast,
Talking about hot water.
how hot do you like your showers? Pretty hot?
I usually like it pretty hot, yeah.
Abby says she wants it to hurt.
I want to know that there's
Oh,
like a...
that's what Abby's into, huh?
No, Jake.
Want it to
Boiling
hurt?
skin.
No, it's just that you've been in our old shower, which I was very fond of. It was like a tub.
I have, yeah.
It was kind of dangerous. It was
No,
kind of
I
a death trap.
understand. You want a large hot water heater. You want to be able to sit in the shower for as long as you want without
It's
the
like
water
a
getting
control
cold.
thing. I want to know that it can get extremely, very, very hot. Then I'll have to
Right.
back down from that and be like, whew,
Right.
had to cool it down a little.
It's like
Yeah.
when you collect toys and you're like, I might not collect a certain line of toys. Like, I'm not into 3 3/4 inch Star Wars, but I want to know that I could be. I could go down that road.
Absolutely.
Sure,
If I wanted to.
sure.
Anyway, we got it fixed, Jake, so
Good job.
that's
Yeah.
the whole
We
point.
turned a knob.
We had to turn a knob. We were like talking to the guy at our gas station about like coming over to fix it.
Yeah. It's a whole
That's
But
amazing.
it's fixed now.
I willingly
Wow, house
invited.
talk. Or this is
There's a
this is
guy
all
that
home
works at the
improvement.
Texaco by our house who he carries a gun on him.
Yes.
And,
Is that the guy who calls you Bon Jovi?
No, this is the
No.
guy with the Deadpool stickers and guns in his car.
Okay.
His truck.
Okay.
Speaking of Deadpool, I wanted
He was
to...
going to come into our house and fix our hot water.
That sounds safe, yeah.
Hey, Craig, I'm glad you fixed it.
So, did you guys read that there's been some early test screenings of the new Deadpool movie, and they are not going well.
No,
Really?
I did not read that.
I did not. What's
I
it
have been
saying?
moving. Tell me more.
That the movie is awful.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Like, are there any particulars or like specifics here? Like, what's happened?
The reports were that the plot is boring and kind of non-existent, and that it just is nowhere near the level of the first one.
Dude, okay,
Well,
well, tell me what differences. I know the director's different. But
Different director. I mean, I don't know. I think listen, it could not be real. You never
Okay.
know.
Yeah.
But
When's that come out? It seems early.
it comes out in like 6 weeks, 8
Okay.
weeks, something like
Okay,
that. 2
okay.
months.
That's
But
nice.
yeah, apparently that Tim Miller left, and he was going to direct it. He directed the first one. And he had some sort of creative differences with Ryan Reynolds, and now apparently, according to the reports, Fox is shocked. Who knows?
Well.
It's probably great. Who knows?
I'm shook.
Are you shook right
Yeah,
now?
I'm stressed. Yeah, because I really liked the last one, so it'll be a bummer if it's a huge drop off.
Deadpool was surprisingly good to me. Like, I am not a Deadpool fan. I'm not into the comics. The people who dress up as Deadpool tend to be the worst.
Oh,
in
they're
society.
great. They're great.
They're the best. Don't you? Hey,
They're the
Jake,
best people. Yeah.
Don't you love Deadpool costumes?
Love
at
the
Dragon
conga
Con?
line.
God, it's just so original.
What's fun is that they can do anything. You can do a mashup of any. Oh,
Yeah.
and then
That's
the
what I
explanation. Yeah.
Well, cool. Now that oh,
Hey, no, I legitimately did like the movie. The
yeah.
last one.
Deadpool's great.
Yeah.
It's great. So yeah, that happened, and then we got word that there was some test screenings of the new Godzilla last week. So it's just a reminder that there's a lot of movies coming out.
Were those
Right.
positive? Like
Positive, yeah. I mean, Godzilla's still
rumblings?
over a year away, so it's super early. A lot of the effects aren't done, but I was talking to Jake the other day. The consensus was that the tone of it was more in line with Kong Skull Island.
Okay.
And there was a shit ton of
Kind of
monsters.
comedic. Yeah, that would be.
Just, I mean,
Or at least more like a fun
more fun.
action.
The first Godzilla is great, but it's not. It's pretty bleak.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
Jake,
Which isn't bad, but like I think that worked for Godzilla, but going and making a whole universe, I think they probably are like, hey, let's not be DC and make every movie
right?
dark and like you could do that the first time with Godzilla because it's the first time you're seeing him and when you're bringing in a bunch of other monsters and we've already had Kong Skull Island, like why not lighten it up a little bit and be it's gonna be
don't need
like
Justice
it's
League.
gonna be a team up monster movie, so there's no reason for it to be
I hope they don't have to digitally remove King Kong's mustache.
Oh my god.
Speaking of King Kong, Jake, context clues aside, Abby and I have been moving. We're in a new place, and I've been going through all these old boxes, and you find pictures and just little pieces of your past. And we found this postcard today that my brother and I had written to my grandmother. Like this had to be 93, 94, something like that. And the part I wrote was stupid and boring. But my younger brother, his part was great. It was basically like, Dear Grandma, we went to Disney World and Universal Studios today. I love the King Kong ride. The best part is when he picks up the train. Also, I got a new jacket.
Love you.
That's great. Yeah.
Apparently we went to
get him
King
on the
Kong.
show.
My brother got a new jacket, so congrats
let's
to
talk
Andrew.
about it.
All right. Well, cool. So we've had a busy week.
I just got jealous of like your brother in the past.
Dude, my brother... Oh, Ab.
My Tamagotchi's dying, everybody. Like when you
Oh
move,
my god.
Yeah.
When you move, your Tamagotchi's die.
It's been one of those days, yeah.
It's okay.
It's fine, you just recharge him.
There you go.
I'm sorry for your
fantastic.
loss.
Okay,
you.
cool.
Thank you,
So there's a lot going on. Ready Player One debuted at South by Southwest. The reviews are very good. I'm very excited about this movie now.
Guys,
Yeah.
I read. Okay, you guys haven't read the book, right?
No.
I've read a
So-
book.
You
Has
lied.
that Star Wars book?
Calm down, everybody.
It was discarded in the bedroom when I was like going and cleaning up all the shit that was left. I was like, oh, how's Aftermath?
Hey.
Hey.
Jake,
I'll
I think
ease up. Jake,
Jake
talk
was
about
saying
Ready Player
something.
One. Yeah, people want to hear about that.
So I read the book a couple months back, in preparation for the movie, and as soon as the trailer started coming out, it's fairly obvious that the movie is not going to be like they change a lot of stuff, like a lot, and I know some of it is probably copyright reasons, some of it is because American audiences don't know who Ultraman is, just like all kinds of stuff like that.
There's a rumor that Ultraman was replaced at the end of the movie by Jerry Seinfeld.
No.
Like a giant Jerry Seinfeld.
Dude, I'd be into that.
No.
I'd be
It's a
into
rumor.
that.
It's a rumor I just made up.
Oh God,
But,
I want that.
But there's lots of it that's been changed, and I was on a website the other day, and it was like, this is a spoiler, but this is a big Stephen King reference that's going to happen in Ready Player One, and I was like, well, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and read it. I want to know what it is.
Yeah. Tell me. Can you
Okay.
wait? Are you going to tell us?
Do you guys want to know? I'll tell you.
Yeah, that's funny because I was about to say that reminds me of when it
So
came out.
in
It
the
was like,
book,
continue.
in the book, they're trying to find like these 3 keys. Like you get all 3 keys, and then you get the big prize or whatever. But there are all these little clues that are basically tiny little riddles. And once they read the little clue, they have to try to figure out. Like usually you find the clue, it kind of points to a location they need to go to, which will open up another clue. It's a puzzle basically.
Yeah.
So in the movie, they have changed it, and one of the clues leads him to believe that they're referring to The Shining.
Oh.
So they go to the Overlook Hotel, and they're walking around the Overlook, looking for a key.
No,
and that's not in the book at all.
Do they do
it's
a
not in the
ghost
book
tour?
at all. They do a ghost tour. They
Dum Dum Lollipop.
I kind of
Yeah,
wish you.
Lollipop.
I thought that's the coolest version of a Stephen King or Stanley Kubrick reference. I kind of wish you wouldn't have told us now, because I thought you were gonna. I was kind of tuning out. I thought what you were gonna say is like, they go to a pet store and one of the dogs is Cujo. And I'm like, oh, cool.
No. They did that in the Dark Tower movie.
Oh, right.
Those stupid references are in the Dark
Wow.
Tower. No, it's what part of me, I feel the same way, Craig. Part of me was like, oh, why did I read that? But then second of all, I was like, wait, that's cool. That just makes me want to see the movie. It's weird because usually when you read a book and you start seeing that the movie's going to be completely different, usually that discourages you, and you're just like, oh, well, this is going to be stupid.
Right.
But that's not really happening for me here. And I think one reason is because I didn't love the book. There are a few things that I wish they were going to put in this movie that I know is not going to be there.
Right.
But as far as all the weird, the changes, I'm like, you know what? I don't care. And you know what? Maybe watching them fucking walk around the Stanley Hotel or the Overlook is going to be way cooler than watching somebody literally talk along with the movie War Games, because that's what they do in the book. I'm like, that's going to be boring. But also the fact that it's just Steven Spielberg, and from all the reviews, everyone's like, this is a Steven Spielberg movie, which is something I've kind of been missing. Steven Spielberg has kind of gotten into this thing where he likes to make historical movies, and I was watching E.T. the other day, and I was like, when the fuck is he going to make another E.T. or another heartfelt? I want J.J. Abrams to slow down on making the Steven Spielberg movies and let Steven Spielberg make a Steven Spielberg movie. Yes. And apparently this movie feels
like a return to form.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I don't care if they change shit if it turns out to be.
I'll tell you another
awesome.
thing. Yeah. I feel like I normally don't go I don't want to go see Avengers in 3D, but this is the kind of movie that I think you want to maybe see in 3D.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Well, cool. So I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be out in a couple weeks, and so we had a lot going on. There's a lot of big stuff happening.
I'm excited about that.
Avengers is going to be coming out, and
isn't there another March movie? I feel like there's another movie.
Pacific Rim comes out before.
Oh yeah, that's coming out soon.
And then it's going to be Avengers, Jurassic World, Deadpool, Han Solo, Ghostbusters, Answer the Call 2. This time they're answering the call harder than the first time.
Oh man,
it will be answered.
This time they like coffee.
Speaking of Ghostbusters Answer the Call, the brand new IDW Crossing Over series is out. for all of our Ghostbusters fans and listeners who are reading the comic book on a regular basis. The big major crossover event is now happening with all the Ghostbusters from all of the different, worlds. You got RGB, Extreme Ghostbusters,
all iterations,
the comics, all the iterations coming together for the first time. And that issue 1 is out. And congratulations. We knew this for a while, but friend of the podcast, great friend of the podcast, John Yerkeba is officially working with the IDW crew, doing colors and such for the new book. So congrats to John.
Yeah,
he's extremely excited. I feel like he was born to do that. Like,
he was born to wear that stuff.
He was born.
Yeah, absolutely.
I see what you did there. That was from. What was that, from a Ghostbusters movie?
Yeah.
Congrats to John. He's been on the podcast. And he's done art.
Yeah, super happy for him.
Yeah, I'm
really
super pumped for him. He's like, there couldn't be a more deserving dude, and he's extremely talented, and he's a perfect fit for that. So
I just want to put this out there. The guy's got some story ideas too. Let's get him going.
The guy's just got stories. Like, you post anything, and he's like, "Oh yeah, by the way, my parents did this and this with that when I was a child," and it's like always a very touching.
Oh yeah, well that'll lead us to our next discussion.
I would appreciate that.
So this is kind of a bummer. I didn't want to talk about this because I didn't want it to be true. But just as the dodo bird no longer exists in our world, it just as Blockbuster disappeared long ago.
Oh man, I know what you're gonna.
You know what I'm gonna say, right?
Yeah, it's a bummer.
It's a bummer. All right, I'll just say it. There's a rumor that Kroger might be closing its doors. And I just really think they have
their
produce.
We both went for produce. We both know that we have to go grocery shopping.
We do.
Dude, I just need those apples and some peanut butter.
So, well, we need to talk about this.
Yes,
it's one of those things. Toys R Us might not be around any longer. They're about to go into liquidation. They're closing. As of right now, obviously something could change. A buyer could swoop in and save the day. But as of right now, it looks like all the U.S. And UK, I think Toys R Us are closing. And the only remaining major toy chain is going away.
Yeah.
It's very sad.
Yeah.
What reminded me of this, well, we were going to talk about this anyway, but we posted on Yes Have Some to share your memories of Toys R Us. And John Yerkeba, his was like, everybody was like, I like Toys R Us. Where am I going to buy my toys? I like going there. It's like, and then John Yerkeba was like, my father worked at Toys R Us. He worked the night shift, and he worked a day job as well, and brought me Pokemon cards.
That's what I was talking about.
And it was just like this touching, like, you son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it. Toys R Us is closing.
Yeah.
A couple of ours have some sales going on. Jake, I know you hit Toys R Us today. What's going on down there?
Dude, I'm gonna it is a super sad thing, because it is always fun to go buy the toys instead of ordering them. For me, it is anyway. I'd rather go to a Toys R Us. I had heard that some Toys R Us stores already have some pretty big sales going on. And I don't know if that's just strictly the stores that had already been, announced as closing. Yeah. But I was like, you know what? I better go to my Toys R Us today. It could be the last time. So I went in. There weren't nothing was on sale. But it was weird, man, because I went in all sad and shit. And then I went in all sad. I'm like, this is going to be it. This might be the last time I ever walk into a Toys R Us. And then I'm like looking on the shelves and I'm like, I need to buy something. And then I'm like, they don't have fucking shit in here.
Yes.
And I'm like, good.
This is why they're
close this
Fuck
piece
this
of shit store.
Jake, that's what you have to do.
That's what happened. Like I feel sad, and it's like I do feel sad about it because it like you just said, it is the only major toy store. But you know what? They're closing because they kind of suck.
It's kind of sucked.
They kind of it's kind of been a steady decline for Toys R Us for the last couple of years. And you know what? It's like, what am I sad about not going to get? Like NECA toys and stuff like that, which I can get now at Books A Million. Yeah. I can get NECA at Best Buy. I can get it at fucking FYE. Yeah, FYE is like a toy store now. So I'm like, I'm trying to like not be too sad about it.
Yes, I would compare it to like when Blockbuster closed, you still had Best Buy to go and walk around the DVD aisles and like look at those things. Because for me, at least, I like the experience of being able to go into Toys R Us and kind of forget about everything and walk through the aisles. And like I have really good memories of just like being there with you, obviously, and getting toys. And like I think the experience of like being in the toy store is something that I'm going to be sad about, like, missing out on, but you can still go to Target or Walmart or other places for these things. So,
I mean, the thing about Toys R Us is, like, over the last couple of years when they started ramping up, like, the collectibles, like, the stuff we're really into. But for a long time, Jake, you're right, it has kind of sucked. Like, they would get stock in and then it would sell. They wouldn't restock. And it's no secret that their prices are about 10 to 15% higher than everybody's. Yeah. And that's, that's because there's articles out this week that Walmart and Target basically take loss. They don't make any profit on their toys, but between Target, Walmart, Amazon, it's hard. Yeah. The thing is, Toys R Us was such a giant part of our childhood. Like, do kids care anymore? Like, do kids want to go? Like, there's so much more to do.
Yeah, I feel like when we were in our Toys R Us that was having a lot of the liquidation sale stuff going on, it was mostly like adults that looked like they were going to flip and resell like online, secondary market.
Yeah.
So I would just be on the lookout for notifications that your store could be closing. They did announce today that any Toys R Us gift cards are going to be useless in 30 days. So if you have one, make sure you spend it. And it's a bummer. It's a bummer because, like, it was a bummer when Blockbuster closed, but at the time it was like, well, who cares? And then, like, now I'm like, I'd really like to go to a Blockbuster right now.
Yeah, that's what I was saying, like that tactile experience or whatever. It's just,
but it's the first of many. There's no way that Best Buy is going to be around that much longer. It's all going down the toilet.
Yeah, I was like, at least we have Best Buy, and then that's probably on its way out.
My favorite was I was talking to our buddy Hal Clay, who helped us move the other day. So thanks,
you,
Hal. And Jake helped us too.
Thanks,
Jake.
You're welcome.
You know the Luke Skywalker speeder, the Power Wheels, the big one that's like $400?
Yeah.
Hal said I don't know if he did this or he was going to, but he went and took a ticket. You know, you have to get the ticket for it.
Right.
He was like, well, yeah, I went and took a ticket, but I just held on to it. I'm just going to wait till they go on sale. And they'll always have one in stock because I have the ticket.
Oh. That's amazing.
Is that how it works?
I don't know. But
I don't think that's how it works.
Like
they're going to liquidate all of them, and he's going to walk in there with his ticket, expecting it to be on sale. And so, good luck, Hal.
Yeah, I hope.
If that is how it works, then I'm going to get a ticket.
Yeah,
maybe we should just go get one just in case because I have no idea.
I bet inside that speeder I fit. I want it.
How smart.
Hal is smart, but everybody's been like posting their stories, like, and dude, Toys R Us was a giant deal. Like, just going to Toys R Us, buying Ghostbusters figures, buying Ninja Turtles figures, buying video games. Like, the old way it used to be that you would take a ticket from the video game aisle and you'd have to go pay for it at the front and scan the ticket. And then there would
go get it out of the back room.
Well, there'd be like a man in like a glass box.
Yeah.
That had all the games, and like you would give him the ticket. It was just, it's very. I feel like I'm gonna get choked up.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I don't want to cry over a toy store, but I really.
It's fine. We've been moving. I've been crying.
I feel like I don't know, end of an era. So
I completely feel you.
I agree with you guys. It's fun to go peruse, and
I have like made up memories in my mind because my parents told me that like the week before Christmas that there was like a special night where pets were allowed to go shopping for their owners, and so I always imagined that my dog would go and like
they told you that
walk down the aisles of Toys R Us.
God, they lied to you about a lot of stuff.
That were addressed from our
what else did they lie to you about?
Like everything, how
Santa
we got
Claus,
here, heaven,
Jesus
hell,
Christ.
sin, Jesus, the whole thing, sex, drugs, rock and roll.
Oh, man. First they lied to you about sex and Jesus. Then they told you your dog went shopping for you for Christmas.
That's like a good lie, though.
So we'll keep everybody abreast of the situation. But do us a favor. Go to Toys R Us. Take some pictures.
On dog shopping night.
Go on dog shopping night. Let us know if you run into any canine friends. Any golden retrievers stealing tickets. Cool. So yeah, Toys R Us is closing. Jeffrey the Giraffe, we will miss you. And Jake, you okay?
I'm fine. Yeah.
Cool. Anything else on Toys R Us before we move on to our fun topics here?
No.
Instead, I'm gonna miss them.
You're gonna miss
I just wish they would. I wish they would either. I wish it would come out and someone would either be like, "Hey, we're buying Toys R Us. We're gonna be good," or they would just rip the Band-Aid off and fucking do it, because it's like they're just dragging it out.
Hey, Jake, you should go to a Toys R Us and just stand outside and just start yelling
Do
at
it.
it. Just fucking do it.
Do
Do
it.
it. Do it.
Do it. You
Yeah.
should.
I read an article today about how like it's really sad they're putting 35,000 people out of work.
Yeah, it's a lot.
So maybe, hey, dude, how great would it be if another, like, out of nowhere, there was just like a new toy store that took off?
Mm-hmm.
It's not gonna happen,
Dude, no. What if like, what if KB Toys came back?
Whoa.
What if they've been like waiting in the wings, and what if they're the ones who like have somehow orchestrated putting Toys R Us out of business?
That fucking
for a huge
that-
comeback.
It's like a Marvel film.
That little
villain
toy soldier.
plot.
Yeah,
Like
the
a
little
giant-
soldier from the Black Parade. When I was a young boy, I'm singing my
He's just like
romance now.
choke holding Jeffrey the giraffe.
Oh man.
I feel like Toys R Us actually bought out KB Toys, so
okay,
maybe
well, all right.
it's the long con.
Check that history.
That's what it is. That would be funny. You know, KB Toys was a great store, but I feel those were only in malls, right?
Yeah, I think so.
They were
I think so.
kind of tiny, but they were good.
Yeah, that's why when you said Out of the Shadows, I imagined like mine was up on like the very top in a dark corner.
Oh yeah.
It was like the dark. I refer to it as the dark part of the mall.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know. Well, it sucks. Fuck it. Fuck it. It sucks. There's my fuck budget.
Dude,
for
I'm
today.
sad. Yeah, I hate change. It's
hate
definitely
change.
we'll all have to get adjusted.
So cool, Jake.
We'll all have to get adjusted to not buying toys at Toys R Us. We kind of already don't do.
Yeah, we already
Dude,
don't
but
do.
we walk through there like
Yeah,
we're going to.
it's gonna be really-
Don't take
That's
that
true.
away from
We
me.
do go
I
there
wanna
a lot,
peruse.
yeah.
Like that's what I'm saying.
It's going to be a big change for me because what I do
It's
now is I
therapeutic.
go to Toys R Us and then I look for what I want and then I order it off Amazon. So
I know you
basically,
guys do
we're
that.
the reason. I'm the reason why they're going out of business.
You're the reason.
Yes. It's like a window sale. I've seen Jake do it. Like every time we go somewhere, it's like, oh, let me check. Let me see. how much
Another
that
thing
is
that I've
online.
done is I've gone and I've seen something. I'm like, I'm buying that. And I'm selling it right now. Put it on eBay.
I feel
Yeah.
like you've gone to the bathroom of like a Best Buy and ordered something online that you could have bought there that you went there to buy.
I
and then
have.
left.
Have some podcast, the episode where they realized they're the reason Toys R Us is going out of business.
Guys, we killed him.
Have I ever told the story on the
Jeffrey.
podcast about where I used to run my eBay store out of a Best Buy?
I
No,
remember
but
that.
I
Yes.
haven't even heard this
Okay,
story.
Well,
I'll act like I haven't heard it. So go.
So there was a time when we were a combination of in between houses and also broke.
we were doing good.
We weren't doing good, and this was probably 10 years ago. But of course, classic poor toy collector. Like I had a lot of toys. I just had no money.
Hey, but we got all these My Little Ponies.
So what I was doing was I was trying to sell stuff on eBay, but I didn't have a computer at the time. But I did have an eBay account. So what I would do is I would go to Best Buy and get on their iPads. It was like the first generation iPads. And I would just take pictures of my items. I would bring them in, and I would just
You would bring your toys into Best Buy.
yeah.
Wait, how did you conceal them?
I didn't. I honestly, I didn't. I just brought them in, and I would take a picture with the iPad, whatever I was selling. Sometimes it'd be like a trading card or something, household item, maybe a spoon, and or like a
Antique lamp.
This is my
collectible key.
favorite story of all time.
So I'd go into Best Buy and I would log into my eBay account, and I would list it and I'd put it there, and I always do a lot of times when I do best offers for eBay. But I didn't have a smartphone or a computer at the time, and I didn't know if I want to track those offers. So I would hang out at Best Buy for like an hour and a half or 2 hours.
Yeah.
So I could keep checking the iPad to see if I was going to... hey, I didn't say it wasn't a sad story. I just said it's an interesting
I
story.
feel you. I used to run stuff off library computers, or at least like check up on things.
I feel like using a library computer for like a necessity is different than running an eBay store off of
that is a little
the
bit
display iPad.
Right.
That's amazing.
Jake, do you have any confessions like that?
I don't. I wish I did. I'm over here like jealous that you have such a weird life story to tell. It's great.
I like it.
God, and that was just like, I mean, I'm not gonna. This didn't like go on for like a long time, but long enough. I got those sales. I did pretty well. I did the one thing Toys R Us couldn't
Craig.
do. I sold some fucking toys.
Yeah, Craig. It sounds like you were doing pretty well.
Yeah, we were doing great. I remember eating a lot of rice.
Yeah. Ramen.
Ramen. All the R's. Rice, ramen, red jelly. Or wait, strawberry. That's what it's called.
Just red.
Hey, what flavor is that jelly?
It's red.
Let's move on. We didn't have a podcast that we recorded last week because we were preparing to move, and much like the movie Airplane, Jake got on an airplane.
I did. I was on an airplane last week.
Jake got on an airplane. So, Jake, I'm gonna turn it over to you, man. Tell us what's up.
What'd you do?
Where are you?
I went to Monster-Mania up in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. Never been to New Jersey before. First time.
Did it live up to its?
God, it was amazing.
Was it everything you hoped and heard?
Abby used to live in New Jersey.
I did.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think was it Trenton?
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay. I did see, so I flew in. I flew
Sparta.
into New York.
Where?
Sparta.
Yeah,
okay.
It was like a northern suburb in like the mountains. Yeah.
Right.
It's kind of nice. Craig's like double checking. Sparta.
I just don't think
New
that
Jersey.
there's mountains in New Jersey. Anyway.
Yeah, it's like
Jake, I turned it over to you and we derailed. You flew into where?
Fine. I flew into New York.
I don't have the internet, so you're gonna have to check. Sorry, continue.
I flew to New York. We drove into New Jersey from there, and I did. So I tried to get a picture of this, and it didn't really work out. But I did see one of the towns that this convention was close by was called Haddonfield.
Oh, okay.
And I did see a sign driving in that it was like, we're on the interstate and it has like, whatever's off this exit, and it's Haddonfield and then Voorhees. And I was like, what the fuck is this? I tried to get a picture. It's super blurry, but I thought it was cool. Kept seeing signs for Haddonfield all weekend.
That's better than when you're in Atlanta. You can see a sign that says Alpharetta and then Cumming. A lot of people don't realize there is a city outside of Atlanta called Cumming.
It's Cumming.
It's spelled Cumming.
I always heard it on the radio. It was like Cumming, Decatur, Atlanta, but then it's
that's amazing.
It's pretty.
There's
neat.
an old joke about like there's the best place to live is Alpharetta because you're always 15 minutes from Cumming.
Wow, that's cool. I guess.
Hey, cool old joke.
Hey, man.
All right, tell us about New Jersey, Jake.
Yeah, it was cool, man. So I went to Monster-Mania. There's a lot of big guests this year, and I was with a couple of friends of mine. John, who we've talked about before, is working on the It documentary.
Yep.
And our friend Becky, and so Tim Curry was there, and one of the big things going down is John's like, hey, I'm bringing in some friends, and we're like, okay, well, what is this? So he brought in the guy who played the original Stan in It. His name's Ben Heller, and he also brought the original Eddie, whose name is Adam. I kind of have a hard time with his last name. Farizi, I don't know, whatever.
That's fine.
So
that's fine.
Adam and Ben, we're just like hanging out. So like he's like, yeah, we're gonna go to lunch with them. We're gonna hang out. They're gonna try to meet Tim. These guys haven't seen Tim Curry since filming. Ben told us that he has never even talked to Tim Curry out of the makeup before.
Wow.
Oh wow.
So Saturday rolls around. We have to buy, like, we're in line on Friday buying wristbands for original cast members of It because they're not going to get there till Saturday. It's just like such a weird thing. I'm like, all right, I guess they can pay us back.
Right.
Yeah.
Did they?
So they did. Yeah, it was cool.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so they show up. We're just like hanging out, which it's super cool. It was cool with John. And it was so weird because like we're at a horror convention. It's a big horror convention. These guys aren't on the guest list.
Right.
And, you know, when they were in the movie, they were children, so they're not like instantly recognizable to most people. And I'm like, we're just sitting here in the middle of this really busy horror convention with just like two people who most people here would probably be into meeting. You know, it was just like such a weird thing.
If they were guests, they would be, because like they're those kids that
that's blowing up now. Yeah, I mean, we just talked to, you know, Brandon Crane and Marlon, a month or two ago, and like it's becoming a big thing. So and they all had also last month there were like I want to say 5 cast members from the original It who were all at the Birmingham convention.
Oh right,
and you know, they're all trying to like reconnect. You know, these guys haven't seen each other since then. You know, they talked about it in the interview, Brandon and Marlon. And so it was like cool to be there for part of that, you know, and just kind of get to hang out. Like we went to lunch with these guys, and we just you know, when we talked to Brandon and Marlon, they talked about a scene where they're filming with Officer Nell, and he was like upset with them because they were being kind of annoying kids. It was weird. We were at lunch, and Adam like went into that story, and he had like more to the story that the other two guys couldn't remember.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is so weird, like getting in more to this story. Yeah.
Not to sound lame, but it's kind of cool because like, I don't know, the fact that like the plot of the book is like all about friends reconnecting and like putting pieces together and stories together. I don't know. It's kind of not to sound lame, but it's like you're living that out in your actual life. It's kind of fucking cool.
It's exactly like that. And John,
little goosebumps. I feel like I'm happy for you, and I'm jealous. That's
John. Cool. John multiple times has been referred to as Mike Hanlon because he's he's the one doing it. You know, he's kind of putting all this together. He's the one. He's the one getting everybody to meet, and he, you know, he loves it. You know, he loves that miniseries more. Like I think he's read the book. And, you know, he's seen both films, but like the miniseries, that's his favorite. Like that's so like this is like a dream for him. And it's just like cool to hang out. And I'm just so lucky that to be friends with him and to, you know, be able to experience it. Yeah. But so like they wanted to meet Tim, and they got to. It was a quick, so like Tim Curry's doing photos for like 5 hours at a time at this convention. They got to go back, hang out in his tent for just like a few minutes. From what I hear, they got to talk to him very shortly. They presented letters to him that they had written beforehand. We all were able to get pictures with Tim Curry, and that was it. You know, like they got to do that, and that was fun. We just like proceeded to just hang out the rest of the day. We took some pictures, like, you know, they signed stuff for all of us, and like Ben Heller had like, he was like, oh, I got some stuff for you guys, and I'm like, what do you mean you have stuff for me? And he like pulls out 2 8x10s that he's already signed and addressed to me, because I guess John, you know, told him like, hey, this is who we're gonna. And he was just such a cool guy. You know, it was just cool hanging out with him and talking. At the end of the night, Ben Heller asked me and our friend Becky, like, hey, can I get a picture with you guys before I go?
Yeah.
And I'm just like, oh, no. You know Ben Heller, who's in one of our favorite movies of all time. You can't. Yeah. It was just such a weird experience.
No childhood icon. Right. Like, that's special as fuck, man. Very cool. At the end of Saturday night, so the It Kids were at this convention.
Five of them. The new It Kids. 5 of them were at this convention. 5 that the 3 of us have already met. But they were there, and the old Stan has not met the new Stan yet. So we're just all kind of sitting around, and we're like, oh wait, Wyatt's here. Let's bring you over there. And Ben's like, he's like, can we do that? And we're like, well, you're Stan. We're just gonna do it.
Yeah.
And we had this conversation about how weird it is that all these people. So like Tim Curry was at the convention, right? Mm-hmm. And 5 cast members from the new It are at this convention, and we were talking with Wyatt's mother, and we were like, so is anybody trying to like hook up Tim with the new kid? Because like that would be, I'm sure Tim would like to meet them. I'm sure these kids would like to meet Tim.
Right.
Nobody at this convention is trying to put that. We're like, they're all in the same place. How come nobody's trying to make this happen? So it's just such a weird thing. We brought Ben. So this convention was set up way differently than any other conventions I've been to. And I told you guys it was pretty chaotic. It was the most unorganized convention I'd ever been to. It was way oversold. It's in a hotel, and there's no like parking deck. We had to park about a mile away and walk in on one of the days. The parking lot's very small, and they had a lot of big guests this year. Like Paul Rubens was there, Tim Curry. There was just like John Carpenter was there. There were a lot of guests, so it was super packed, and it was so bad that on Saturday, they stopped selling wristbands. They weren't letting people in. When we went to lunch, we came back. We couldn't get in the building. The fire marshal shut it down. They were like, "There's too many people in here." So there were people who had bought. We were with somebody in line trying to get in, and there were people who bought photo op tickets but hadn't bought passes yet because they were just going to get a day pass.
Right.
And then they were like, "Well, we're not selling any more day passes." So those people were out money, and they're going to have to try to get a refund. It was ridiculous. And unlike, so, you know, we go to Spooky Empire, everything's in one room. All the famous people, everybody's in one room. This was different. They would have separate rooms with 2 or 3, like Cassandra Peterson, who is Elvira, and Paul Rubens were in their own room. Tim Curry and the guys from Killer Clowns from Outer Space, they were in a separate room. And then like the It Kids, John Carpenter and Richard Dreyfuss were in it was just weird. And there were lines for everything. Yeah. So we just took Ben Heller and we're like, "Hey, we're just going to skip this line. You're Ben Heller. We don't have to wait."
Yeah.
I'm
going to start doing that. I'm going to be like, we're going to go to a convention or we're going to go to Six Flags or Disney World or somewhere. There's going to be like a 2-hour line. I'm going to pull Jake aside and be like, "You're Jacob Walsh. We don't have to wait."
Dude.
And then we're going to try, and they're going to be like, "Hey, yes, you do. You have to wait."
Yeah.
I told somebody when we were, because it was me, Becky, John, Ben Heller, and we had, I think, 1 or 2 other people with us. And at one point I was like, "You know what, Craig, you have told me this multiple times, and this is where, you know, your wisdom stepped in."
Fine.
And I was like,
"I've been waiting for like 4 years for this to happen."
Yeah. You just got to act like you know what you're doing.
Yep.
You just
nobody will fucking say
and nobody will care. So
secret it.
That's how at Star Wars Celebration I signed autographs as Mark Hamill for 3 hours.
It's incredible.
People are like, "Whoa, he looks good.
He looks good. He looks good." And I was like, "Hey, I'm Mark Hamill. Yoda in The Last Jedi. It's gonna be fun, Batman." That's what I did.
That's exactly what happened.
Yeah, you just gotta act like you.
It was
so basically
it was not quite as cool. I think I just snuck into the store line. So yeah.
Well, in reality, you just skipped a bunch of people.
Yeah,
so it's fine.
In reality, I just fucked over a bunch of people.
You claimed a family crisis.
Oh yes, I did.
Lied.
All right, Jake. So you are approaching Wyatt.
We walked in the room. There was a line. Someone was like, "Hey, you know, this is where Wyatt's line ends." And just John stepped up, and he was just like, "Hey, this is who this is. We just want them to meet." And they were basically just like, "Okay." They brought forward the agent for Wyatt, and we told him what was happening, and he was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, that's cool." So they just brought us right up to the table, and they basically put the line on hold, and Ben Heller and Wyatt got to meet each other, and they talked for a few minutes and took some pictures, and then they let Ben Heller like meet the rest of the cast, and like I was just watching. I was just a spectator in this, but it was like. That was just cool to see. It was cool to be a part of. it's cool to be a part of that. And like the whole time, also Sean Astin is there. And we were right. I was like, who's this guy being very loud behind me? And I turn around and it's like, oh, I'm back to back with Sean Astin while he's signing his autographs. And he was super cool. He was like talking to us. He was like in a very good mood. It was good to see. But
potatoes.
I would be in a really good mood too
if
there was a 3-hour line. If I knew I was getting like $60 an autograph and there was 3 hours of people, I'd be in a great.
You'd be in a good mood, right? Dude, Somebody should tell that to John Carpenter. Jesus Christ. But yeah, it was cool. I got to see that. We got to hang out.
Because he's cranky or because he just looked unenthused in all of his photos?
He looked like a pouting 10-year-old in every photo I saw. Yeah. He just looked pissed off. But anyway, like it was cool. We hung out all day with, cast members of a movie that I've loved, for 25 years, and it was just weird and it was fun and it was cool. We got to do that. And like one of the things I'll always remember is like when we were leaving that room, me and Ben Heller were in the kind of the back of the line, and I was like, dude, that was cool. You got to do that. And he like looked at me and he was like, yeah. He was like, thanks for making that happen. And I'm like, well, I didn't do anything. I was like, why are you thanking me? It was just he's such a cool dude.
What if he kissed you on the lips? What would you do?
I'd be like, I guess I'm with Ben Heller now.
Cool.
I guess this is what I'm doing.
Hey, you just start using do you know who this is? Like you do it at restaurants, you get the best seats.
Yeah. That's what I'm in it for.
Let me ask you this. So
he's alive.
By the way, I would like to get him on the podcast.
I think it's possible. I mean, like he reached out. We got his number, so I think it's possible we'll probably get him on the show.
So you're hanging out with him, and who was the other cast member?
His real name is Adam. He played Eddie.
Okay, cool.
Eddie and Stan.
So are these
Eddie left. Eddie left before the meeting with Wyatt. He had a plane to catch. Right. He was there earlier today, but he had to get out of there. Yeah.
What do these guys think of the new movie?
They all, everybody said they liked it. The two of them said that, there were things, I think just like most of us, everybody had some issues with it, but their consensus was that they both thought all the kids were super talented. Fantastic. They both said multiple times that they were kind of proud at how well the kids acted in the film, that they felt like it was, it was like worthy. It was like a word. Yeah, it was like a worthy thing, and they were really. They all have seemed that we've talked to so far. They've all seemed like super happy in the acting of the children. So
yeah, dude. Obviously, because I think that's what draws the crowd. Like I think that those actors, the kids themselves. That's why that's why there's like a bunch of preteens there, because like they all connected with them so strongly. So
Jake,
they definitely did a good job.
Compared to Spooky Empire, was there a lot of kids waiting for those new 8 kids?
There definitely were. This convention in general was a little more our age, but when I got inside, their lines were very densely populated with just young girls. It was very similar to Spooky Empire, and like it was funny because like John was having a conversation with Wyatt's mom just about some other stuff while Wyatt is over here like dealing with screaming, 13-year-old girls. Yeah. And you could see the look in his mom's face was just like, Jesus Christ. Yeah. It was like, God. Yeah, it was exactly the same.
Right.
That's really cool, man.
That is cool.
So yeah, there's been a lot of stories about how chaotic and overcrowded the convention was. Mm-hmm. Now, we talked about Kane Hodder on our podcast a couple weeks ago.
Let's do it.
So Kane Hodder, obviously, when we were at Days of the Dead, was he pushed me.
He was cutting up.
He was pushing people and sticking knives into his eyes. And there was a little incident, apparently, at Monster-Mania. Jake, I'm going to go to you. You were there. Tell us what happened.
I was there. I did not see this happen. But I was at this convention. There were, I think, 6 Jasons at this convention. They were doing a photo op.
Right.
But apparently what happened from various accounts is that a girl was getting a machete signed. She brought it up to the table. Kane Hodder grabs the machete. And in some of the accounts, I read that he like whacked the table with it, which I think would show you, hey, this is real metal. But he then proceeded to play and like drag it up somebody's arm. And I'm not sure whose arm it was. Like I read at one point that he thought he was grabbing his friend's arm and it was just a con goer. I read that it was one of the other Jasons who was sitting next to him. I read that it was like a stuntman. So I have no clue who this happened to. But Kane Hodder cut somebody's arm open with a fucking real machete. Dude. He just did it. And apparently, like, this dude was bleeding all over the place.
Right.
Yeah, that's
so Kane Hodder's crazy.
Yeah. Because like there's a difference between like going and seeing somebody and having them do the line that you want them to say from the movie and being like, also try to kill me like you do in the movie.
Hey, try to kill somebody. Kane Hodder is just going to get to the point. He's just going to get to the point where he's murdering people, and he's going to be like, "Well, I'm Jason."
And
that's
they wanted it.
They wanted.
That's what they want.
Super fans.
They
like,
asked me. They said, please sign it, and then kill me.
Yeah, that's what's happening.
Yeah. Please stuff me in the sleeping bag and slam me against the nearest oak tree.
That's so crazy.
I love that's the best kill. Can we talk about that?
Yeah.
It just is.
Mm-hmm. It just is.
I bet those counselors want to do that. Those kids, they're rambunctious at the summer camps. Anyways. So, yeah, there was that. Kane Hodder acting crazy. And then Randy Quaid, no shocker, didn't show up.
No show.
Canceled or something, yeah.
I want to get him on the podcast. I'm sure it would be insane, but I think we could do it. Would you guys be down to have Randy Quaid on the podcast?
Wait, didn't he offer like to call personally everyone who had a paid?
Yeah, he said on Twitter he wasn't going to be able to make it for whatever reason, and he said if anybody was coming to see me to send me a direct message and I'll call you. So
sure. I'm sure he honored that.
Yeah.
Somebody posted a picture on Twitter that he sent a selfie of himself and digitally signed it and sent this guy. So
what?
He like
digitally
signed like on your phone is the option.
He like edited the picture and signed
That's stupid.
But Jake,
I kind of want it.
Hey, Jake, it's stupid as fuck, but do you want it?
Yes.
But I'm buying it. I mean, it's dumb, but I'll give him like $100 for it.
Yeah.
I'm paying to do it.
Cool. So, let's see. Monster-Mania. Did you meet anybody? Did you do any of the stuff?
I didn't, man. I mean, I like I said, I did get to meet Tim Curry, and it was a quick meeting. But that's it, man. Richard Dreyfuss was there, and I would get another thing signed. I would do another picture. We all know how the last pictures came out. But it was so weird. It was so weird. Like me and 3 other friends who were at this convention who haven't seen each other in a very long time all met from Jaws. There were, we all met like on Martha's Vineyard at a Jaws event. We're all the biggest Jaws fans in the world. Richard Dreyfuss is there. None of us could have given a fuck. We were all like, we were just all in, the It mind frame. We were like hanging out with those guys. We've all met Richard Dreyfuss already. Mm-hmm. So it was just kind of like, whatever, Richard Dreyfuss is here.
Yeah.
That's so cool, man.
Yeah.
That you all skipped meeting him. That's really awesome.
Dude, I can't get the image of the photos that we got with him from Froggy Photos, like the blurry.
Yeah.
Hey, what if Richard Dreyfuss stabbed somebody?
It's like the unnatural photo that Stan sees. Like that's how I feel every time I look at that.
I feel like these conventions are just getting so fucking crowded. Who wants to wait in a line for 4 hours to meet anybody?
They're crazy. They were saying so like we were supposed to meet John Carpenter, and just the line was too long. We couldn't do it. They were, I think it was Friday night. We went to get in line, and they capped the line, and they were like, "These people probably won't even make it." And there were people, probably 100 people up the line, who when we walked up there, they were like, "We've been in line for 5 hours," and they're like, "And we don't even know if we're gonna get up there," and we're just like, "Nope."
Like I used to think that the worst, so as far as putting time into something versus payoff. Like waiting 3 or 4 hours for like a ride at Disney World has officially been surpassed by waiting 3 or 4 hours for a 5-second interaction
With an angry old man.
with an angry old person.
Yeah.
And it also costs you $80. Like,
Yeah.
so
I just think they need to. I think these conventions got to figure out what they're doing as far as how many really big guests they're bringing,
Right.
and their like time management of what they're doing. Like you can't have a convention this big with. And like Monster-Mania has been going on for a long time. It's a pretty. It happens twice a year. It's a pretty big thing. You can't have a convention like that, bring this many big people, and then be like, okay, well they're only going to be signing for this many hours because they're doing pictures for these hours. Like it just doesn't work. There's too many people. There needs to be a. They need to cap it. They need to put it in a bigger place. I don't know. They're going to have to do something different.
Yeah, they are going to have to do something different. And what's going to end up happening at some point, something bad's going to happen. Like someone's going to freak out. Someone's going to punch Richard Dreyfuss in the face, or or because what's happening is a lot of people,
or like Kane Hodder is going to cut somebody.
Right?
Oh,
that happened.
Yeah.
What's going to happen is a lot of people that are going to conventions now are people who are new to conventions and they don't understand the way it works, and a lot of people don't realize that, you know, your interaction might only be 10 seconds or less, depending on the person. I just feel like it's kind of a weird system that eventually something's going to go really wrong.
Yeah.
Like a fire is going to break out or something, and there's going to be 8,000 people in a room with a 3,000 person capacity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
until then, we'll just keep hoping it doesn't.
The lines. Yeah,
we'll just keep doing it. Yeah.
Jake, how was the rest of your trip, man?
It was good, man. I went to Philly. You know, you told me like, hey, you have to do the Rocky Steps.
You have to.
So I did. I walked very slowly up the Rocky Steps, saw the statue, ate some food, just hung out, man. I went to found a couple really cool stores, a lot of toys, spent some money. It was a fun little trip, man. I would definitely I would love to go back. Like ended up kind of driving through New York City unexpectedly, trying to get from one place to another, and we all of a sudden were like, oh wait, we're driving through Times Square right now.
Yeah.
And that's stressful. I'm glad
Jake.
I was not driving, and I'm very glad because I was like, there are too many horns honking.
Jake.
I completely understand why people that live in New York don't drive.
It's like driving through a fucking casino. It
was
stressful.
so scary.
It's
yeah.
like Canto, bro.
Yeah, it is like Canto. Like
it is, yeah.
I wish I had one of those giant llama things. What are they? Who cares what they're called? I hated them. Anyway, dude, yes,
it was
Jake,
good. It
Craig
was
and
a
I
good
drove through
trip.
there once.
It was
we
a good
didn't know
trip.
that we were going to end up there. Then all of a sudden, you're just like in it, and so
It's
very
you
stressful.
feel like you're inside of a pinball machine.
We
Yeah,
sound like we're from Georgia so hard right now.
What?
Exactly.
When you get to New York City,
They don't even know how to drive up there.
No,
They don't even. I don't even know why they're using a horn like that.
Apparently in New York, red means go.
All right, that's not.
No, like it was cool, man. I've been to New York a couple times, but it was just weird. It's weird ending. It was like we were in a tunnel, and then all of a sudden, I'm like, "Oh wait, this is we're on Broadway."
Yeah.
I had no idea that's where we were. I guess I wasn't paying attention. I just looked up.
Yeah.
Don't
and
you wish it was Toontown instead when you came out?
Yeah.
We drove by the public library, and I was like, "Man, this is just so cool." Like I've been in there, but it's just when you're unexpectedly like, "Oh, that's where they filmed Ghostbusters." It was fun.
It's fun, man.
Yeah.
That's cool. Well, that's a good trip, man.
Yeah.
I'm jealous.
Are you sure you wouldn't have rather have been moving?
Right, exactly. What
all your stuff?
So what's our next convention? We've got MegaCon coming up in Orlando.
It's probably MegaCon, right? When is that?
Yeah.
That's at the end of May, so that's going to be
SharkCon.
Jeff
Goldblum Con.
There's SharkCon.
Yep,
And
which
then,
we're going to.
Yep.
The one I wanted to talk about before we wrap things up for what it'll be a little bit of a shorter episode this week. We just got a lot going on, but we'll be back to normal fuck budgeting and stressing out next week.
Yeah, we got to set up our toy room.
Yeah. Well,
Dude, can we talk about packing stress?
You don't even want to think about that.
Moving a Lego firehouse a mile is very stressful.
Dude,
the entire Ecto one is just all over our front yard.
Yeah, I dropped the Lego Ecto one today. So,
Oh boy.
It's very stressful.
I won't be putting that back together. If anybody wants most of the pieces of a Lego Ecto
Just
line,
come to our front yard. It's fine. They're just out there.
damn it. Fanboy Expo is coming up. I wanted to talk about that real quick. End of June in Knoxville. This is a convention we've gone to a couple times. It's a little bit smaller, but man, they got some guests this year. Mm-hmm. Do they not?
They
Yeah.
do. Tell us
So,
more.
for the first time ever, there's going to be 2 cast members from what is clearly collectively one of our favorite movies as a podcast, but personally probably a top 5 or 6 movie.
Mm-hmm.
Henry Thomas and Robert McNaughton, both from E.T.,
Yep.
are going to be at Fanboy Expo.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty excited about
You
this.
are.
What
I
did
know.
you think, Jacob Walsh?
Yeah, dude, I'm excited. Like that's a pretty important movie, I think. And that's a lot of people's favorite film. It's very cool, and I mean, that's the star of ET. So I feel like that's a pretty big deal. I haven't seen him doing other conventions. Also, he was in Gerald's Game, but yeah,
That's
I'm
a
excited
whole
about that.
other
Lovable
I don't
character.
have anything ET like to get signed, but I definitely would. Those are autographs I would like to get.
Yeah.
Henry Thomas played Elliot. His brother Robert McNaughton played Michael, his older brother, he did a great Yoda impersonation in E.T., so maybe we can get him to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's got cool hair now.
Dude, here's
Yes.
the thing. That picture they're using,
I hope it's really recent.
that is not recent. That is the picture they're using is from like the E.T. anniversary.
When
from
he was like trying something.
from like 10 years ago. I wonder
Wow.
what he looks like now. But what I noticed is on the website there's a blank space. I wonder if Dee Wallace is going to get added. Cause she
Dude,
does some
that'd be cool.
conventions, doesn't
Okay.
she played the mom in E.T.
Okay.
She's been in a lot of stuff.
Got it.
I'm going to get Henry Thomas to sign something and write penis breath on it.
Yeah.
For
I
sure.
hope so.
We have a
I'm
TV
sure he'll do
dinner
it, yeah.
tray, but we actually use it, so we'd have to like clean it.
Yeah.
It's excited.
He's
under
not
the
getting a hold of that tray.
honey mustard stain.
But yeah, that's going to be a fun convention. They're also doing a little Hellboy reunion. The Backstreet Boys are going to be there, at least a couple of them. It's going to be a grand old time. Having said all that, I am completely exhausted. What else did you guys have for us this week?
Why is it us? What do you have?
What do you have for us? Yeah, what can
Why
we
is it our job?
For anybody who's ever moved, for a collector, packing up your entire toy collection and then unpacking it is both nerve-wracking,
Oh my God.
exciting, stressful.
Yeah.
It's exciting setting up the new toy room. It's just a lot of work.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's what I'm going to be working on all
Yeah.
weekend.
I want to say thanks to you, Jake, for helping us move, and also thanks to our buddy Hal for coming up and helping us move, and
Yeah, you're
thanks
welcome.
to other friends for talking to.
And thanks for
us
Jake
and
for bringing
being cool.
bringing us an unopened sealed box of Bill and Ted trading cards.
Oh
Hey,
yeah.
did you decide to leave that unopened, or you open it up, or what's happening?
Honestly, I haven't.
They're unopened as of now.
You forgot about it until right now.
No, I'm looking at them right now. I think I feel like what I love about those old boxes of cards is like opening them and then popping up the cardboard on the top, like how it would be displayed in a store,
Yeah.
but just not touching any of the packs.
That'd be cool. Yeah.
I think
Yep.
that's what I'll do.
There's probably also, I think, a lot of those old boxes like that. As soon as you open it, there's a poster probably folded up right on the top that you could take out.
Yeah.
I don't know if Back to the Future had one, but I know Ghostbusters did, and like Gremlins, all those old.
Yeah.
They all had posters that you didn't have to open anything but the box, and it would just
Yeah.
be folded up.
When I opened it, when you gave it to me, and I realized it was Bill and Ted from both the movies, I immediately started thinking about how that's a line of figures I've always wanted to collect.
Yeah.
There's
Bill and
good,
Ted
yeah.
Kenner figures are great. It's a phenomenal line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So thank you, Jake, and thank you for
You're welcome.
thank you for going out of town on the weekend we moved.
Yeah. Thanks. For
I
that.
planned it purposely. I was like, guys, I will help you guys move whenever. Just like let me know. And then you were like, oh, cool, we're moving this day. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to New Jersey. Getting the fuck out of here.
Sorry, somebody called. I have to be in New Jersey to hang out with Tim Curry
Yeah.
and the cast of Yanks.
Right.
Like
I
next
think
time,
I have to go. Oh my god, I want to see that film. Like it's like part of the miniseries. Like it's Jake's. You know, he has to go to New Jersey, but we want him to stay and move with us.
yeah.
So I got the call.
next time we're gonna be like, Jake, we got to move. He's like, I'm right there with you. We call him. He's like, sorry guys, I'm hanging out.
I made this promise.
Michael J. Fox called me. And, we're hanging out all weekend.
We're just
in Maine. Well, cool. Well, we won't go too much further because we got a lot of work to do. Got to get these toys set up.
Yep.
But like we said earlier, we've got a lot going on. There's a lot of movies coming out, so we're just like mentally preparing for tons of fun movie talk over the next couple months. Han Solo's coming out. It's going to be stressful. The Last Jedi is out on Blu-ray in a couple weeks. The digital just came out. I'm going to watch it hopefully tonight.
The Shape of Water?
Shape of Water. Oh, I guess it's been a while since we podcasted. Congratulations to Shape of Water. Best Picture.
Yeah, for real.
Well
I was
deserved.
excited about that.
That was cool,
And then Get Out, another one of our favorites from last year.
That was awesome.
Best Original Screenplay, Jordan Peele. I actually helped him with that. I didn't get a credit, but I helped write Get Out.
Get Out.
By the way, I would have voted for Obama for a third term if I could. Best president in my lifetime, hands.
I really like that movie.
Shorter.
It was shorter.
It's shorter.
You don't want to hear my original title for Shape of Water.
Oh.
It was. Do you want to hear it?
I do want to hear it, actually.
It was, the original title I came up with Shape of Water was
She did what?
it was called That Fish Called Fuck You.
Get Out.
It was called You Need to Get Out. No, I can come up with a joke. No.
I can come up with a joke.
Everybody says, like, people keep calling it the fish fucking movie. And, I mean, I know he was a creature, but I never thought of him like, oh, look at that fish.
No, I was like, he's a divine being.
He's a god.
He's a god.
Don't call God a fish.
No.
Abby, what would your parents think of that? They tell you the fish were shopping for your
presents.
presents.
Into that. No.
All right.
Not at all. I wanted to recommend it to them, but then
your parents don't need to
Yes,
see
I know.
Shape of Water.
I got my dad to see Baby Driver, and everyone's like mad at me these days about Baby. Like, hey, what's the deal?
Is there a Baby Driver backlash?
I feel like there's a backlash. Someone was like, I have a bone to pick with you at work. I was like, what?
You didn't direct it.
I didn't make it. Don't talk to me.
Yeah. Listen.
Yeah, you're right.
For all of you out there, thank you so much for checking out Yes Have Some Podcast this week. We got a lot coming up, like we said. In the meantime, make sure you check out yeshavesomecast.com, and you can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/yeshavesomecast. And do not forget to join the official discussion group for Yes Have Some. It's called Yes Have Some Group Therapy. You can find it on Facebook. It's where we have all of our episode discussions. People post pictures of their toys, collectibles. They vent. Andrew Schaefer complains about things. It's perfect.
I love it.
It's great.
I love it. Yeah, it's good.
So good.
And
keep talking about Toys R Us. Keep remembering
keep going.
things.
Oh, and then
Toys
Twitter.
Were Us.
Twitter and Instagram at YHS Podcast. You can find us there. And of course, to download, check out iTunes. Leave us a 5-star review. It helps more than you know. And you can always use another podcast app, whether that's Downcast or whatever Android folks use. Make sure you subscribe so you get those downloads automatically. And we are the first podcast to ever give that spiel. No podcast ever has asked their listeners to leave them a 5-star.
It's never ask for stars anymore.
Yeah, we've moved on from stars. Cool. No, we have not. Please leave those reviews. Come on, guys. We're trying over here. Abigail Gardner, anything else before we sign off?
I want to see Jake challenging a Toys R Us to just do it already.
I'm gonna do it. Yes.
Yeah.
Hey, Jeffrey, do it. You
do it already,
bastard.
I want to see it.
Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if Jeffrey the Giraffe moves to Amazon.
He's gonna be like the Verizon guy. Like,
oh yeah,
knows what's
he's
wrong.
gonna be the Dell dude. I was saying because giraffes might live in the Amazon. Do they? Oh man.
Maybe the Sahara.
No, Jeffrey
Savannah?
the Giraffe's gonna be with that toy soldier from KB and
yeah.
The Blockbuster logo.
The Blockbuster.
It's gonna be like of mice and men. It's gonna be like, look at the rabbits.
Yeah, tell me about
look at the rabbits. It's gonna be okay.
Shit. Take off your dumb vest, Jeffrey. Gonna get blood all over it.
Oh man, it's just all them like holding hands.
Hey,
Walking off
remember
into
at
the
Blockbuster, like you know when you go to stores and they put a bunch of stuff at the checkout counter, like to tempt you to buy it. At Blockbuster, it would be like a plastic bucket with a thing of popcorn taped on the inside.
Yes.
Like, this is stupid.
Yeah.
Everyone wants your taped popcorn. No wonder you're out of business.
Yeah.
All right, well, Abby's Tamagotchi's going off again.
He's dying.
Until next
and
time.
I want some like chocolate covered cookie dough bites because that's what I used to get for Blockbuster, and I want them so bad now.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
I used to go. I was the guy who, like, the 18-year-old who would go to Blockbuster, like, y'all got any movie posters you're trying to get rid of, and they never, never did. They're always like, no, we don't. Like,
did you ever apply to a Blockbuster?
Possibly.
I applied to a CD warehouse, but never a Blockbuster.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think so. You know, the retail life wasn't my deal.
Not your thing, man. Got it.
Well, listen. Thank you guys. Until next time, this is episode 90. Yes, Have Some podcast. As always, like I say, if you need to sell stuff on eBay and you don't have a computer, go to Best Buy.
While you can.
While you can.
So it goes the way you're supposed to.
Yeah, there you go. We'll see everybody next time.
All right. Bye, guys.